Hello, it's James. Don't worry, Dave's back for the main podcast, but just a quick note that this was recorded over a week ago, so it's not the most up-to-date podcast we've ever done, but there's some good content in there that we just couldn't waste. So, enjoy. Hit the music.
Hello and welcome once again to another episode of the Sporty Ushers. This is Dave, and with me as always is my co-commentator through this weird and wonderful world of sport. It's James. How you doing, James?
I'm doing well, Dave. It's good to have you back, and hasn't it been a great week for sport?
It's been a wonderful week for sport, and may I say, James, I immensely enjoyed the extra episode with Chris, although I will say, for a Doncaster Rovers special, there was a lot of talk about Hartlepool, but no, I thought it was great, and I'm looking forward to meeting Chris and getting him back on later on in the season.
Oh yes, definitely. He was very happy with it, and he's very happy to come back on again.
Good. Maybe let's talk about Hartlepool next time. And I didn't like the dig about I finally get to talk about English football as if all we talk about is Amalakis. But I jest, of course. It was a great listen. It's still available on all podcasts, where podcasts are available, and on our new YouTube channel. So if you missed James and Chris talking all things League One with a focus on Doncaster Rovers, then you can download that episode after you've finished listening to us, I suppose. As you say, James, it's been a wonderful week for sport, so we're going to cover off quite a lot tonight. So we're going to look at the rugby, we're going to look cycling, we're going to talk boxing, we're going to talk Formula One, and we're going to talk football. Okay, so we're going to start with Formula One, if you'll indulge me. Now, I think both of us have quite a love-hate relationship with Formula One. We love to hate it, I think would be fair to say. But today, Lewis Hamilton finally broke the long-standing record set by Michael Schumacher, the great Michael Schumacher, and won his 92nd Grand Prix today. So I think I would just like to offer the Sporty Ushers congratulations to Lewis Hamilton on what is an absolutely incredible achievement.
I'd echo all of that. It is, yes. We've said this before. We've couched it in as many times as you want. You know, he is in the best. He's in the best car, but so is everyone. So is everyone else who's ever won a world championship. Sorry, anyone else who's ever been successful has also been in the best car. He's also sort of Michael Schumacher, kind of like had 91 wins. Sort of the record that he broke, as if you will, was Alan Prost, who had 51 wins. That shows you like where sort of how far Michael Schumacher pushed the sport on. And like Lewis Hamilton to bridge that gap and sort of to beat that record now is something like truly remarkable. You know, and
he's got a few seasons in him yet, so he's going to go well into this, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
I think what you made a really good point the last time we spoke about Formula One, and it's like there's a reason why his teammates can't get anywhere near him. So we're not talking. So there is. I'm going to oversimplify Formula One for everyone listening, but there is two cars on each team, and yes, there is one driver that is pushed beyond another, but like Bottas is the other one, isn't it? And he's He's. You know, it's, he may be a spoiled little brat who throws his toys out the pram and things don't go his way, but, you know, I think everything, we're going over old ground here, but everything he's done for the Black Lives Matter movement and the fact that he's now broken this record, I think we doff our cap to him. Well done, Lewis.
Yes, we do, yeah. Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's more than enough Formula One for one night. So we're going to stay with, I'm not really staying with the same sport, but it's on a road, which leads us to cycling. So today we're recording this on Sunday, the 25th of October. And today saw the culmination of the Giro d'Italia. Now, last time we spoke, James, there was a bit of doubt if it would even reach the 25th with all the kind of COVID incidents and crashes and all sorts of stuff. But it finished today with a very surprising winner. Now, it was won by Tao Geoghegan Hart. Is that correct? Did I manage to pronounce that properly?
Right, that's it.
Outstanding. Yeah. So this is obviously someone I've never heard of, not being a massive cycling fan, but in your in-depth preview of Giro d'Italia, he didn't come up. So where did he come from, and what on earth?
So basically, like we mentioned it last podcast, or last time we talked about the Giro, we were saying that because of there being numerous kind of like withdrawals and teams withdrawing, that there was rumours that it wouldn't even sort of go the full distance, the full sort of 20 stages. 21 stages. And earlier this week, and basically the kind of logistical problems have kind of overshadowed the actual race in itself. Earlier this week, there was due to like a really heavy rain. Basically the cyclists themselves decided that it was too dangerous to race, so they all got on the buses and started the race halfway along the course. Because they didn't feel like they're and at this time more than ever, you'd think that they didn't feel like the cycling authorities or the organisers were listening to them. So they made this unilateral move and decided to do that. And they all started like halfway. They only did like half the course. But it was basically someone who came. I mean, for me, like I said, I have an interest in the Tour de France, but like a lot of people, I've got a. When the Olympics come around, obviously, I dive into the British success in the cycling. Sure. But Tao Geoghegan Hart is he's someone he rides for the Ineos Grenadiers team. We'll say it again, the old Team Sky as it was on a previous branding. And he was basically, because of the way that the teams have been split up, there was a lot of the racing was he managed to win some stages, which is what actually ended up sort of winning him the sort of got him into the lead, and then he ended up hanging on to it when he won the when he. I
think yesterday was a crucial day, wasn't it? When he stole the stage yesterday, it sort of put him over the top. Yeah. But
so what normally happens is you'll normally have the stronger riders will eventually break away at some point. They'll break away, and there'll be a couple of decisive stages that they'll build enough of a lead so that then when it comes to the end, it's about them sort of beating each other. That never really happened in this tour. It was all kind of quite level, and there's a lot of people. No one had a big lead at any point, and it was so. Like you said, when he basically him sort of nicking the stage yesterday. The 20th stage, the second last stage, basically the bonus points that he got for winning the stage are what kind of put him in joint lead. And then today on the last stage, he just performed well enough in the time trial to win it, basically, into a shortened time trial. But it was I think they were expecting to be a bit of a procession this last time trial, but the way it turned out, ended up being a race for the Giro d'Italia sort of victory, and he ended up winning it. And he didn't win the stage, but he ended up winning it with his performance today. So it was a really, really impressive sort of performance. And he's literally in. It's been 100 and something years of the Tour de France and the various other sort of cycling tours as well. And he's now only the fifth Brit ever to win.
And they've pretty much all, with the exception of maybe one, been within our sort of lifetime, really, which is fantastic.
Oh, they all have been. Yeah, they've all been within the. Since sort of Sky made the breakthrough, and since Bradley Wiggins kind of won, they've had Chris Froome, Geraint Thomas, and Simon Yates as well.
Yes, of course.
So it's kind of it is. They're all kind of like actually, yeah. Apart from Bradley Wiggins, they're all still competing, or will be competing next year as well. Fantastic. So yeah, it's a brilliant. He even said himself he was all his career. I'll read a quote from him. All my career, I've dreamed of trying to be top 10, top 5 maybe in a race of this stature. This is something completely and utterly different to that, and I'm going to take a long time to sink in. I think you could liken it to someone like Dan Evans winning a Grand Slam in tennis.
Right. Okay. So he's like
it's that kind of someone
mid-30 style player, like maybe.
Yeah. Like you said, if you imagine that someone who sort of dreams of being in the top 5, top 10. So someone who dreams of, say, getting to a quarter-final or a semi-final of a Grand Slam, if that's their dream in their sort of whole career.
Yeah.
To actually win that tournament. He's only 25 as well. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Well, it's going to be my next question was, are we looking at a future star here, or is it just maybe circumstantial? And it was one of those, it was kind of, remember the year where Marin Cilic won the US Open in tennis, because all the big guys went out, so it was Cilic against Nishikori, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
So is it more that type of thing, do you think, or is he somebody who can kick on and when Wawrinka won his first one, he went on and won more? Is it that type of thing, do you think? Or I don't know why we're comparing tennis and cycling, but
yeah. I think the thing is though, it's a lot of it is about a lot of tennis. A lot of cycling is, let's compare it to another sport. It is a little bit like Formula One,
right?
Where you'll have a lead rider, and it's one of them things where a team won't make you a lead rider, until you've proven you can do it.
Right.
And how do you prove you can do it? You can only prove you can do it once you've made a team.
Yeah.
You can only prove that you can win once you've been made a team leader. And and how do you become a team leader? By winning.
Yes.
So it's a vicious circle. But if you can break in, and maybe it won't be at Team Ineos, but he could be someone who another team might decide to take a punt on him and have them as their team leader, or he might be someone who maybe they choose him to be the next leader of another sort of go at the Giro, or a go at the Vuelta or something, at the Vuelta de España. Maybe he becomes a secondary sort of team leader for them, because that was the plan. That has been the plan over the last couple of years, was to have to have sort of two. The Team Ineos sort of plan was to have kind of two really, really strong team leader riders, and whoever's in the best position in the last week, the other one kind of becomes their
Thomas one, didn't they? They because halfway through he was better placed, so they let put everything at him. Yeah.
And he could definitely be in that sort of position. He actually, or even he kind of started this race as Geraint Thomas's support rider. Geraint Thomas broke his hip on stage 3 or 4, wasn't it? Earlier,
it was quite early.
And since he basically stepped up into that role. So it's another. It's a nice problem to have, but it's a great thing. It's your reserve striker coming off the bench and scoring a hat trick. It's the last minute replacement.
I think what's great about sport in general is that when we were talking about the Giro in our last podcast, we were talking about how bad things were for the British riders with Geraint Thomas breaking his hip and then Yates contracting COVID-19, and it was just a disaster. And now we're talking about a British winner, which absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So before we move off cycling, we'll quickly talk about the third of the Grand Tours, the Vuelta España, which Chris Froome was running for Team Ineos. Hasn't really gone his way, has it?
No, basically on the second day, he lost some time on the first day, got dropped. So when you say dropped, it means like when the big boys start, pedaling hard, when the big sort of challengers start sort of stepping up, he couldn't keep up with them. And he basically got dropped. He's still in the race, but we're on stage 6 and he's an hour behind.
Yeah, that's not happening, is it?
And so it's been a tough year for him. He was sort of injured quite badly, sort of last year. Was it last year? Yeah. And obviously like we said with everyone, and we've said multiple times, preparation's been all over the place, but he's not really in a position. He hasn't been in a position to actually challenge properly. But he's got a future kind of like he's moving on to a new team, and hopefully we'll see him again. Yeah, hope so. Sort of challenging. But I think this is and maybe he can save his strength and have one really good ride and win one kind of course, one kind of stage as a way to sort of sign off his time at Team Ineos.
He's done fantastic since he's been with Ineos/Sky. He's won countless tours. He held all 3 tours at one point. So it's a phenomenal career. But he's just he's not particularly popular, is he? Nobody seems to really care for him that much, which is a bit of a shame.
No, I think he's got the terrible thing of not being the first. With Chris with sort of Bradley Wiggins sort of winning a couple of years the year before him. He's not been the first, and he's not as charismatic. Well, he's not as outwardly charismatic as Bradley Wiggins. Playing guitar with Paul Weller, looking like he's dressing like a mod, and sideburns and everything, easily recognisable. And he's also got the second thing of not every 4 years, every 2 years with the Commonwealth or something. There's a whole bunch of Brits who pick up medals in the cycling every couple of years, and he's not part of that because he's a road cyclist. He gets 3 weeks every year to kind of show himself, and that's all let's be honest, that's all we ever see of him. Yeah. Unless you search very, very far down on the BBC website or in something like the Telegraph Sports section, you might find
something on
his results. But it's that kind of like level of profile that's that level of profile that he's got. But he's been a remarkable athlete. I read somewhere he's probably the least popular sporting great that Britain have got. And I don't mean least popular as in unpopular. Yeah, it's just there's not any kind of like fanfare for him, like the like there would be, like there was for, say, an underdog like Geraint Thomas.
Yeah, exactly.